Hello everyone, I want to welcome you to the SilverSilk and More YouTube channel. My name is Nilay Patel and I'm going to guide you through this unboxing journey. My recent kit is out. This is the Travels to Toyland. I know a lot of you have asked for mystery kits, more of that from SilverSilk and More, and I've been working hard to put together some really fun ideas, some fun beads, and some fun capture chain and all kinds of other SilverSilk chains together. And so this is the first of many to come, especially in the new year, which I'm excited about. But this holiday season is here, and so of course I want to craft something fabulous together. And I thought I could go with a Christmas theme with the colors, silver, white, green, and red, which that's all good and fun. I kind of wanted to take things a little bit different this time around and theme it around something a bit more nostalgic to me, which is now in the theme of Travels to Toyland. This is a very vintage-inspired theme. The colors and everything are sort of not your typical Christmas colors, but they do coordinate with the season. And I did add enough elements in the kit to make it not too different with maybe stuff that you have in your inventory, or if you're looking for some of this, similar colors that you can use in terms of capture chain or whatever. But there are different elements in here to really spark up the imagination. So I will happily unbox this for you. Real quick before I do that, I did want to give a nod to my other kit. This is the Naughty and Nice kit. The idea here is that if you pick up a kit, you can get both of these on silversilkonline.com under the Travels to Toyland in the menu there. You pick up this kit and you open both of them. Now this is called Naughty and Nice. You get two kits in one package, the black being naughty and the white being nice. And I wanted to kind of make this a bit more interactive in terms of you guys posting a little story of whether you've been naughty or nice. Just one little comment or task or deed that you did that relates to either, and you coordinate by making a jewelry piece to match that. So, for example, if you've done a nice deed this year and you want to just kind of talk about it a little bit, you make something with the white kit, a piece of jewelry. I've got enough parts in here to make either a bracelet or an earring or a pair of earrings or whatever. So you post a picture of your design and you tell us what you did that was, nice this year. Or in opposite, naughty. I've got some fun components in here that relate to sort of a black color scheme. And so you can make a piece of jewelry with that and tell us something naughty you did on our SilverSilk Silkies Facebook group page. This is going to be really fun, I think. I've got some stories of both that I'm going to make jewelry pieces of and post myself once we get this up and running. So do grab these. There's not very many left. I think there's probably over half are sold out already. I didn't make very many of them, but I just thought this would be a fun little exercise. Okay. Let's open this bad boy up. So immediately we are greeted with a really cute little charm from Tiara Cast. This is their nutcracker. These are so detailed and wonderfully made components by Tiara Cast. They do cast these in-house. They are pewter in terms of metal, but their quality is just so premium, so amazing, beautiful, and highly detailed. So I was so excited to include these into the kit. And you're greeted with that in the front part here. And then once we start to open this up and take out this, we get to unraveling our components here. And you get quite a few things in the kit. So I'm going to dump all this out and go through it one by one. So we are greeted with the Softflex medium in antique brass color. Let me show you this real quick before I get into anything else and why these other items coordinate with the kit. The first thing is really the Jesse James beads mix. This is a custom mix made by Jesse James beads for this kit specifically. This gives you kind of an idea of what to expect in terms of theme, the colors. Again, just going with a very nostalgic, old toys sort of a feel. I pulled together some colors and illustrations to help guide the direction of this mix. and they did a kick-ass job of putting all of these cool components together. So, brings me back to the brass color beading wire, which is going to be a really great complement. This is a size medium in their metallics, which is great for stringing bigger size beads all the way to smaller ones that are in the mix itself. I really should dump some of these out and show you guys what's in here because it is awesome. Let's see if I've got a little bead board. Look at all these different little components and beads that you get. I love these guys. Whoops, these guys to start off with. Look at those. They kind of remind me of little drums, honestly, but I think that's going to be a really nice component to work with. You get some snowflake charms. You get some big O crystals there, some of these little tiny components and tassels and stuff. So there's quite a bit in here to work with. I love these little bead caps. They kind of look like crowns, which might be fun for an activity that I have planned with this kit. And again, just a kind of you got your brights, your sort of dark tones here. Again, just going with nostalgia, sort of an aged antique, if you will, sort of color scheme. And all sorts of interesting shapes, really, to, again, guide this look and feel. So tons of beads to work with. Look at all those beads that you get with this kit. That in itself is an amazing deal. What else? So I covered that you get a little charm here from TierraCast, and so it brings me back to the second kit that you get in there of beads. This is one that I quickly kind of put together. You get a piece of capture chain in red. This is enough to make an earring, a couple earrings, or a bracelet, really. So, and again, it ties in with sort of the more traditional colors of Christmas, or holiday season. But you can certainly pair it with some of the items that are in here because you do get bright reds and stuff in the beads. So I think that's awesome. I did add a little companion for our friend, so in case you are wanting to make earrings, you actually get 2 of them. So put that right there. And then I just have a mix of some reds and greens, some glass beads there in case you want to spruce up this mix with some extra stuff. You get that. Let's see, and you, of course, get the wire that we talked about. Findings. You get some SilverSilk findings. So here we have a pair of single strand end caps in antique brass, as well as double strands. So again, if we're thinking in terms of the amount of jewelry that you can make, I mean, that in itself, if you use this just with that, that's already a bracelet done, and you can make a, charm or something to go with it. So there's quite a few things there to work with. I have given you a full spool, 3-foot, of the green capture chain. Now this one really goes with the mix so amazingly. And I have that actually planned for today's project. So that is going to be an awesome addition. If you are unfamiliar with what capture chain is, it is a knitted wire jewelry chain, and it's knitted with 6 needles with 34 gauge wire and very, very fine and thin and super flexible. But it's a knit sleeve over a ball chain, and it gives it structure but flexibility. It's supple, it's easy to cut because it doesn't fray, and you could do so many things with it. The color is just phenomenal. So I'm looking forward to using that. I've included a little star wire frame in case you would like to try to make a pendant out of it. That would be awesome. This also came from Jesse James Beads. What else do I have? I've got a pair of earring hooks with the little stoppers at the end if you want to make some earrings. And of course a lobster claw, because this is an all-inclusive kit. So tons of things to work with, and really the imagination level is going to soar with it. Real quick, before I get to today's project, I do have a complimentary kit that is also on the website. And this, think of it as an extension pack, but I've packaged together the Travels to Toyland bead package, bead mix, along with some chain in case you wanted to further expand out your design horizon and try something new. And I've included 2 additional little nutcrackers from Cast. And so that's just an extra bonus kit you can get online. Again, all available on my store, silversilkonline.com. All right, let's get into it. I have the best project today. We are going to construct a toy because it travels to Toyland, of course. Check out this little guy, though. Isn't he just adorable? I love him. Or she. Doesn't have to be a boy or a girl. It's a robot. But we are going to construct our little toy, get it strung up on this capture chain, and I'm going to show you a little bonus method of maybe even exaggerating the focal area of your necklace once we get down to it. Just a little bonus, I guess, tip there, but we're going to focus on him tonight. And we are going to string him on the capture chain too. Alrighty. So you just need a few things to make this work, actually. You need beads from the mix. I'm going to use that little bead that I called a drum earlier, and then the blue crystal as the head. You could absolutely accessorize this however you want to. Again, I just picked up the beads that felt good to me from the mix. And then you just need 4 of these little check glass beads. Secondly, you will need a few wires. So here I have 3, and I'm going to work with 2 to begin with. This is 22 gauge Softflex craft wire. I use Softflex craft wire because it's super soft, super easy to work with. They have so many colors, and this antique I think it's the antique brass color, if I'm not mistaken, is the color that I picked to go with my design, and it matched perfectly with the kit. So I really wanted to make sure that you guys know exactly where the source of my wire is coming from. I'm also going to be using a 26 gauge wire from Softflex Craft Wire as well. This will just be for the bottom part of its little feet, and we will start with the construction there. So what I'm going to do is gather up my 2 pieces of wire, and I'm just going to start wrapping it with my 26 gauge wire. And I want to go a fair amount of distance here, and I want to make sure that my coil is nice and neat, and I do not have any, hit my camera there, that I don't have any spaces between my wraps, that everything is nice and tucked, very specifically and very professionally. We want a robot to look good, right? It's a toy. All right, so I'm gonna measure it up to this. So I'd say there's probably about a 1/2 inch of wrapping that I just did. And I'm gonna go ahead and clean it up by snipping off the little ends there. Put that to the side. And I do wanna make sure that my little tail is tucked in and not going to poke out. Same thing on this side. Just give it a good snip there, making sure that I do tuck it, just like that. Perfect. So this looks really good already. And what I'm going to do is actually, it's going to want to slide around a little bit. That's all right. I'm just going to separate my wires just like this to begin with. What I want to go ahead and do, you can go about it this 2 ways. You can go ahead and assemble the legs first, and then we can attach the bead to it. There's really no right or wrong method to this. It's totally up to you. I'm using a toothpick, which I think I forgot to mention in my materials there, to create my little legs there. I'm sure hopefully you have toothpicks at home, but you can go as long or as short or as coiled or as little coil as you want. I'm going to press it in just a little, and I'm going to do that to each of my sides for my bottom wire there. Okay, really easy so far. This will construct my legs all in place so that we don't have to go back and do it later, which is always helpful. But it does this does wire up together very easily, I'm happy to say. I'm going to go ahead and stick on my bead to finish out my little leg. Now, before I put that on, I think what I want to do is bend this wire straight down on both sides. Just like that. Perfect. There we go. string a bead on. I'm going to, actually I'm gonna use a different pair of cutters because this is a little bit thicker of wire. And I'm gonna trim it, and I'm going to fold this in, just like that. You can make a simple loop. If you want to make it symmetrical, then just break the neck to make it look nice and neat. You could make a P-shaped loop, it's totally up to you. Since this is an odd coil, you do not have to make it perfect, of course, so that's also very helpful in the construction of this design. Okay, same thing here. I'm gonna go ahead and trim and make my simple loop. Very easy so far. Perfect. Now my legs are already complete. How quick was that? Now what I'm gonna do, this part's a little bit tricky, but it can be done. I am going to measure out my distance, but what I'm gonna do is kind of just form it around my bead there, and once I get one side in, you kind of just twist it and you cross the other wire into it. This really probably doesn't work with every bead because you need to make sure that you've got a good size hole to be able to pull this off very nice and clean. But once it's done, you just give it a good tug, and you can definitely push that wire in. Since it is craft wire, it's very flexible and easy. You can adjust the legs however you want to. So it's nice and flexible and easy to work with there. So you can basically just get those guys out. Now what I'm gonna do, because I have that extra piece of wire there, I'm actually gonna fold this up to wrap my bead. Okay, this will be where I attach the head piece on. So we're gonna start with that first. I just crisscross my wires just like that. Then what I'm gonna do is make a nice little hard angle crease in the wire there. And I'm gonna wrap my other piece of wire around. And because I want it to have a bit of a neck, I'm just gonna use up some of this wire to form it. Just like that. You can make it as thick or as slim as you would like, totally up to you. I think this looks pretty good to me, so I'm just gonna leave it there. And I can just tuck that right in. Now I can add my robot head. Remember, people, we're constructing toys here. Very cool. He's already almost done there. So now what I can do is create a simple, or excuse me, a wire wrapped loop actually at the top. I want it to be super secure. So I'm going to do a little wire wrapped loop. And later I can just attach a jump ring to connect it to my capture chain. Now all I'm doing is wrapping the extra wire around and around the head of my robot. Cool. When you get to a specific point and it's not wanting to go in, you can actually lift off just a little bit, and you go back in and you cut that straight edge off. Little tip there for you. That way you have it already curved into your wire design. Perfect. I do want to make sure that my loop is actually facing me. That way whenever I go to add in my little jump ring, I can just basically connect it and it's all ready to be strung on. So we're missing some arms, but we're going to do that right now. All I'm going to do is take my other piece of wire. Actually, I don't even need to string it in right now because I can construct one arm freely and then do the other arm while it's inside of the bead. That might make things a whole lot easier too. Again, you can go as compressed or not compressed with the arms. That's totally up to you. But you basically construct it the same as the legs. You just coil it around your toothpick, and then you add in your bead, and then you trim and make your simple loop. Just like that. Okay, one side is done, now I can do the other. So you just string it in, like so, and then you can kind of carefully while holding all of this, which is a little tricky, I know, but it can be done. You just try and get it as close as you can to your toothpick, to your bead, and then kind of form it while it's on there, which so far it seems to be working pretty good. There we go. Now I'm just going to take it out. Perfect. There we go. The one thing that was probably going to bother me is like how different this looks over here, but I think that can be fixed just by kind of working with the wire a little bit to get it to stay. So then we can add in our bead, just like that. And then what I can do is cut my extra wire, go ahead and form my loop, just like that. And you basically have a cute little robot. Adorable. Now he has a little friend. I love this. So I had promised a little extra bonus technique to your design, because all I did was just then string it on and I attached a jump ring onto it and then strung on the capture chain. But what you can also do, which I totally forgot to also state, is adding in your findings at the very end. So probably important to do that. Again, I've given you a pair of single strand end caps in your kit, as well as a findings set. Easy to do, you guys. All you do is string this in. You see how everything matches with the findings and the wire? Very, very important. And lovely that the kit has all matching components. You just use your chain nose pliers to give it a nice gentle squeeze. You can use nylon jaw pliers if you are worried about over pinching. But you just basically do that. You want to make sure that your seams are touching within your end cap, and then you can open your little findings. Now, all of my findings are plated exactly the same, meaning that my lobster claw clasps, my double strand, single strand, my head pins, everything all matches together within its respective metal. So another specific reason to buy findings from SilverSilkOnline.com, just to make sure you have consistent findings across the board. Okay, so there we go. Now I've got a complete necklace. The last thing I had promised was using some soft flex wire. And what we're gonna do is actually add in some extra beads in the center there to make it a little bit more playful. What I mean by that is I'm just gonna get some of this out and I'm gonna cut it just like that. What I'm gonna do is, actually I'm gonna cut this again because I'm gonna use part of it with my magical crimpers. Okay, I also need some crimps, which I didn't have out, so I'm gonna go grab those real quick. I'm gonna use my color that matches, I think the closest is probably gonna be copper, because it's not gonna be as noticeable. So we'll go with that. But I thought it'd be fun to do like a little focal area with some beads in between my capture chain. So what I thought I could do is add some beads in there. But what I'm first gonna do is crimp my soft flex wire. So probably doesn't make any sense right now, but bear with me. I'm going to use my pair of magical crimpers. If you've never used these before, you basically just put in your crimp tube. I would use the ones from soft flex wire. And you just give it a nice little pinch in the single one divot that this has. And you get this nice little pillow shape once it's crimped. And then you can turn it on its side, making sure that it is inside of the divot again. And then you just kind of go round and round. And what it does is it forms a little bead at the end there. Look how perfect that looks. And it's super secure on top of that. So I'm just gonna trim that off, and now what I have essentially is a nice little soft flex wire head pin ready to use. You do need 2 pieces of wire to pull that off correctly, so just something to think about there. But in any case, now I can just string it through my chain here. See if I can get it through. Takes a little bit of wiggling, but it can be done. Sometimes the ball chain is in the way. Oh, there we go. Takes, again, a little bit of wiggling there. And then I'm going to string on my beads. This will also help to keep your robot in the center of your design. Oh, look, he's happy. He's got his arms up. Okay. So now you just go around. Hopefully this is centered. I didn't even check if it were. Looks like it is. If I push it through right here, it should be all right. So I'm just going to do that now. There we go. Again, just takes a little bit of work there. Oh, look at that. That's going to look so cool. So yeah, I'm going to string in my other crimp and my other piece of wire. You could do those 2 wires at a time and just string them both through the the SilverSilk, excuse me. It's totally your preference. No right or wrong way to this at all. Let's see if I can get real close with that. And same method of crimping. Making sure that you do have a nice little pillow shape before you start to form round and round. Perfect. Oh, that ended up really nice. Kind of gives this whole robot thing a bit of extra oomph too with this particular technique. If I still have a couple of pieces of wire sticking out, you can all take your cutters and just continue to kind of cut it down. There we go. See, all gone. See, now you got a cool little bail with your design. So that's it, you guys. That's my project. That's my happy little robot friend. And I hope you will try making this on your own. You could even really just make the arms do whatever you want. You can make it say hi, like that. Lots of versatility and fun to this design. Give it a try. This is the Travels to Toyland kit. Please check it out online and pick up yours before they're all sold out of the big kits. I know we're already at 50% sold out, and we had a ton online. So check it out at silversilkonline.com. And I'm excited for the next project that we do next week. Catch you guys later. Bye.